I think it all starts with self-awareness, your ability to monitor yourself, to recognize your patterns. Whether you're using meditation or journaling or therapy, whatever helps you to observe yourself better. Now, this is vital because you have to know when you're being negative or who you don't want to be when you want to grow up, right? You got to be able to recognize that you don't want those things in order to change it. And this can also be why sharing with people you trust is just so vitally important. We want them to give us the feedback to help us to see ourselves more clearly, to build that self awareness skill set. So, whether that's someone in your personal life that you can trust and be vulnerable with, or that's a coach or a trainer or a therapist, if it's something clinical, whatever that appropriate scope and context is, getting the mirroring, getting the feedback helps us build the self awareness. Maybe it's even listening to a podcast, right? Maybe it's listening to Better Than Fine so that you can hear yourself, oh, I beat myself up like that. That's not, oh, I can change that. Cool. That level of self awareness is the first step. And let's own in this moment that self awareness can be uncomfortable sometimes. We're looking at things about ourselves that we might not like. But if you take the mindset that that awareness is empowering, right? That this is an opportunity to gain information about yourself in the world, that awareness, that acceptance, that mindset opens you up. It softens those hard and rigid parts of you. Because when you recognize you're being harsh and unkind to yourself, now there's an opportunity. Now there's a chance for meaningful change. That's what comes from awareness. If you didn't know you were doing it, how could you possibly change it? How could you possibly give yourself a break? You're listening to the Better and Fine podcast. We're talking about self-compassion. I'm your host, Darlene Marshall, and I'm assuming that you're here with us because you want the chance to change. You want the opportunity to give yourself a break. And oftentimes, this is the moment that I'll ask a client, well, how do you want to feel? Or how do you want to be? And for a lot of people, that those questions, it freezes them in their tracks because they could say all the things they don't want, but they will struggle to say the things that they do want for themselves. Additive thinking can be really overwhelming because we evolved as a species to avoid the bad stuff. Humans have something called a negativity bias, where we focus more on the bad things that happen to us than the good things. And this is important. It kept our evolutionary ancestors alive. Because if we recognize a potential threat to us or those we love or those we're responsible for, we had to keep an eye on that threat. We had to keep an eye out for that threat. So our ancestors who had that negativity bias did better than those who were like ignoring what could, I don't know, take them out. Well, we are their descendants. So we have that negativity bias in us, that likeliness to focus on all the things that are going wrong. Now, we live in a world, many of us, where our foundational needs are already met. But at the same time, any hour of the day, your digital devices could poke you with the worst possible news that is happening on the planet right now and put it right in front of your eyes.